Today I'm going to be talking to you about some items that I have used some version of for years as we transition into spring. It's that time of year where, we're getting fewer and fewer colder days. However, we are supposedly getting some sort of winter storm coming in this week, which blows my mind, completely blows my mind. However, that being said, I tend to find at this time of year, as I had previously talked about in my fashion transition outfits that I tend to wear around the springtime a lot that I recently did, I talked about items, kind of like what I have on now, and how I layer in my outfit formula to get me through those days that could either swing all the way to the cold side or all the way to the warm side. We've had some days here in New England that have been as warm as low 70s and as cold as back down into the 30s. So after I talked about that, I also decided to do a little bit of a video talking to you guys about some items that I, as I mentioned, have used for quite a few years that help me transition from those cooler months to those warmer months where we might be showing a little bit more skin. We might not just be wearing, some sort of hat or coat or big layers. I tend to find as we get into these warmer months that I wear my hair down more. I tend to find that I need my makeup to be a little bit darker. I'm using some self-tanners. So we're gonna talk about these 5 things that I always go to every year to transition into the spring months. Now, there are some that I have tried and true products that I have used for years. I'm always trying something new because you never know if you're going to miss out on that newest, greatest thing that is similar. However, I always pull these things and make these little tweaks and adjustments to get me in through these months before it truly is warm enough to wear set spring outfits. So I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to start talking about the first item is self-tanner. I feel like everybody starts grabbing for self-tanner around this time. We're showing some more skin, we're going on vacations, but self-tanner is a big one that we all start kind of breaking back into around this time of year if you took a break from it. Some people use it year round. I personally take the winter time to kind of like detox my skin. I use more retinols, retin-A's, tretinoins, all those things to kind of regenerate my skin and try and get it looking its best, because I don't really care if I'm super pale in the middle of winter because nobody's really seeing my skin at that time anyway. So as I talk about tanners and self-tanners, I'm going to specifically first kind of tell you how I work my way into them, because me personally, with the exception of going on vacation where I want to have a little bit more color to my skin, I don't personally want to put on a super dark self-tanner because it just looks fake. To me personally, unless you're someone that goes all year round. If I jumped from what you're seeing right now to the other side of the spectrum, it doesn't look like I went on a nice tropic vacation. It looks like I put self-tanner on in these still cooler months. So what I tend to do is I tend to use a more gradual self-tanner to begin. Now, I'll be completely honest, I don't always use it all over my body because it's not all showing. Sometimes a lot of times I use it on my neck and chest first, okay? Then I start using it on my legs because I might be wearing shoes like ballet flats that are showing my skin a little bit. I find my hands and my arms are the next thing on that. And then I kind of get to the middle section where everything else is. But the 2 I have used for years and years are these 2 right here. Actually, I take that back. There was one that I used for a good amount of years from Modier, and they don't make it anymore. But these are my 2 tried and true. It just depends who has it on sale, what I need at the time. One is from the brand Tan Luxe. It is called the Butter. It is the Illuminating Tanning Butter. Sorry, mine's a little bit of a mess. This one, it's even kind of squeezed in a little bit. I tend to buy this one on QVC when I see it on sale on QVC because it's the big pump one. I can use it as soon as I get out of the shower, like I do my moisturizer and my Hemp's body lotions all through the winter. That's kind of my way of keeping my body moisturized throughout the colder months. But now that it's getting nicer, I still want a moisturizer, but I needed a little bit of something with some color. So this one is a great option. Keeping in mind also when I am talking about self tanners and gradual tanners is that I am super, super pale, my natural skin tone. I do have more of a pink undertone. I don't have an olive undertone. I have to be careful because some brands will pull a little bit too olive on me. The other one that I really like, I found this last year. It is from Saint Tropez, which typically their self tanners do not work for me because they do pull olive. This does not. It is the Gradual Tan in Watermelon. This has a really nice fresh watermelon scent. The only downside is this is the only size I've found in that. It is great. It is nice. They are both very, very similar. I love the scent of this one over this one. This one does throughout the day, if you put it on in the morning after you shower, leave a little bit of that lingering self-tanner scent. This one does not as much and has a really pretty watermelon scent when you first put it on. That dissipates as well. However, this is a great deal. You can buy a big thing of it. It just sits there. It's a pump. This one, it's in a squeeze tube. This one's a little bit easier if you're going on a vacation or just need to take something with you, obviously more so than this. I do apply with a mitt, same as I do my self tanners. I don't apply these like I do a moisturizer. You can, and then just really wash your hands after. But I find I prefer to put it on with a mitt. It goes on a little bit more even. It does absorb a little bit of the product, so be aware of that. If you're being cost conscious or you just are aware of that, then just take that part into mind and make your own decision. You could use plastic gloves if that is easier for you. Although I do find with gradual tanners, a plastic glove can make it a little bit streaky because you can't see where you're putting it and how it's dispersing, and because it's not sinking into anything, it kind of can leave a little bit more streaks to it. But both of these are amazing. I use them over and over again, and I absolutely just love both of them and love the result I get of a little bit of color. And I'm gradually working my way into that, little bit darker of a tone. Mitt I tend to use, I don't even know what the brand is. It's just one I get on Amazon. I have a couple of these. I use it once or twice, and then I just throw it into the laundry with everything else. And when it comes out, it just doesn't get that like cake together type of thing. This one is washed and new. It is very easy to use. You can get really into edges. It's also great for your hands and your knuckles to really work that in. I do also want to mention before I talk about my favorite kind of true self tanners is that when I am doing self tanner all over my body, I actually start with a gradual one like that, and I put that moisturizer on here first, and I do my hands, my feet, my elbows, I think those, and my knees, and I go over them with a gradual first. Then I go to a self tanner, put it all over, and whatever is left on there, I just kind of bring it over the tops of my hands and the tops of my feet. And that makes it a little bit easier. So when you're going in areas that it can absorb a little bit more, like your elbows, your knees, it already has like a little bit of a barrier of a moisturizer there. So it's still giving you that gradual tanner, and then the self tanner is going over that, but it's not gonna like suck right into any dry, patchy areas. So now let's talk self tanners. I will say this one is more, it's a prep set and tan from Iconic. It is a tanning mist. This is in the darker of the two shades, I think it is. I think it comes in two different shades. This is made for your face. You can hear the little ball in there mixing it around. It is a spray. I will say that I personally, my own personal choice is I do not self-tan my face. I just find it really just sticks into my pores. It makes my skin look blotchier. I would rather go a step up in a foundation, bronzer, any of those things to even it out a little bit more than putting it on my face. However, of the things I have tried on my face, I really do like this. Every once in a while, I'll say every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll do this once, maybe on my face, depending on what I feel like I need. However, what I love this for is my neck and chest, because I lose the color on my neck and chest faster because I'm washing, I'm using retinols, I'm using tretinoins, I'm using all these different products, glycolic peel pads that really exfoliate that skin and turn it over faster. So it's really nice for that. Also, if you feel like your feet and hands need a little bit more color, this is a very fine mist. I'm gonna stand back. If you could see that, I don't want it on me, obviously. So this works very good for those areas because I know Sephora has their sale coming up, and that is where I purchased this. This is a great one. Again, another one. It smells very nice going on. It smells like kind of beachy. However, as the day goes on, you can do one or two things. You can rinse these off after a period of time, but if you put them on, I tend to put it on a day where I'm not doing much and let it sit. For the Graduals and something like this, you do get a little bit of that self-tanner kind of scent throughout the day. No one else is going to notice it but you, but that is something to take note of with this. But I do love this. This is, I think I've been through like 3 or 4 of these. It's so nice. Also, the fact that that mist, you don't have to rub it in. You saw how fine that mist is. However, I personally find it works best on me. I am very freckly. I have a lot of freckles, and I jokingly say when I do get color to my skin, it is just my freckles blending together. That if I don't take a mitt and go over with this, to me, it can just make my freckles look even more predominant. Next up, I want to talk about 2 self-tanners I have. One is a little bit on the lighter side, one is a little bit on the darker side. The one that is on the lighter side is newer to me. I have tried it this year and already kind of done a once over to see how it worked. And it's like $10 on Amazon. From B-Tan, Glow Your Own Way, the OG Glow Hyaluronic Acid and Vitamin C Darkest Clear Self-Tan Gel. If you are someone that needs a tint or a guide, this is not going to be for you. Again, I use this with a mitt. However, this one actually develops very, very nicely for a clear gel. I was very impressed with this, especially at the price point. It really, I mean, you can see how much I've used. It has been well used and loved, and I've really enjoyed it thus far. I was actually talking to my sister-in-law about it actually today because she's going away. She was looking to see if she could find it at Ulta or Target. I found it at Amazon. I don't know where else you can get it, but it is a little bit, even though it says darkest, it is a little bit lighter than a super dark self-tanner. You know, you've seen the differences. You've seen some people that are just like super dark right away. It also depends on your skin tone. You can layer this and get a darker tan if you would like. However, if you are looking for a pretty quick, like I need a tan right away, I want, like as an example, your legs, right? Your legs are another one that fade really, really fast. If you need a self-tan on your legs and you want a good dark color on your legs, we shave our legs, we lose the skin there a little bit quicker, it turns over quicker, but you think the rest of your body looks great, or you just want a really dark self-tan. This, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many years. When it first came out, it was only available through their site. Now it's like you can get it at Ulta. I think you can get it at Sephora. I'm not sure on that. You can get it at Amazon. Loving Tan, I personally like the 2 Hour Express, and I like the color dark. I think they have one that is even darker than this. They do have one that is a shade lighter. I think it's medium. However, the medium for me, I wouldn't pick up this year. I have had it previously because it is very comparable to this as far as colors. So maybe if you've tried this in the medium, that might give you a little bit better of an idea of how this might go on your skin. But this is the one that I will be using next week before we go away, because I really do want a bit more color for where I'm going away. A little bit just, you know, that island, you know, beachy feel. You want to feel good in a bathing suit. Anytime we're tan, I feel like we feel slimmer. This is my go-to when I want that look as if I went and got a spray tan, or I went to a spray tan booth or whatever have you. This definitely is just absolutely amazing, but you can't go wrong with either of these. Next up, if you are someone that is just like, can't do it, I am not good at self-tanners, I just can't get them even, they don't work for my skin, I am here to tell you, I have found a solution for you. I have used it, oh my gosh, some variants of this, I want to say I have used for probably 20 years. One of these items I have used on and off for that long. And it is from the drugstore, and these are more body makeup, I would call them. I don't remember what they initially were called back in the day when I first kind of found out about them. I remember finding this back when I worked more in the bartending and in the liquor world. And this is from Sally Hansen, and it's called, there we go, there's the name of it, Airbrush Legs. They have since changed and done a couple different. It is water resistant. This one is a spray. You shake it up really, really, really good. I remember sitting on my back deck, and I would, when I had to wear like a short skirt, and it was like, even in the middle of summer, if that my legs just didn't look that great, I would spray this on, and then I would just buff it in and let it sit and dry, and I was good to go. My legs, I think they used to call it like liquid nylons, if I remember it. If that tells you just how long I've been using this, I think that's what it used to be called. I might be wrong, but it basically gave you the look of, really that airbrushed is a better word now, but that it gets, if you have veining in your legs, if you have spotting on your legs, it just makes your legs look phenomenal. It is, I think, somewhere between the 10 to maybe 18 at the most dollar range. You can put this on one of two ways. You can actually use a mitt. I've done that so long it's crazy, just like the one I showed you earlier that I got on Amazon. Or you can use a big makeup brush depending on where you're using it. I also use this on my neck and chest. Again, either if I haven't put self-tanner on and I'm wearing like a V-neck, or if I just feel like my skin's a little bit blotchy in through the summer. Again, remember, I keep my face completely blocked of sun all summer long, and I don't like self-tanners on it, but I also try to block my chest as much as I can. So in order to even everything out, it can be a lot of work, but this is great. And I apologize, this is dirty. I just went and grabbed it real quick. But I take just a big old buffing brush, I spray it on the brush, and I just work it in as if I would a foundation, but all over my neck, chest. I have also used this if you have self-tanner on, and we all know around our ankles, our feet, and our hands, as I mentioned, it doesn't always look the best. This is a great solution to touch up any areas you might mess up with self-tanner. Again, use a smaller brush, but you can really just work that in and it evens it all out. Hands down, absolutely has been around forever and is tried and true. The great other thing is it comes in so many different shades. I remember when it first came out, there was a clear version. I don't know what that did. A light version and a dark version. The dark version looked like I looked like an Oompa Loompa. So I had used the light version. Now I think it's called something beige. It works so great. It is so beautiful. I can't say enough good things about it. This one I think has or used to. I don't remember if it does. See, now I'm gonna have to spray it and find out. It used to have a little bit of a reflective property to it. Very, very slight sheen to it. But it used to have more of a, not a glitter, just a shimmer to it. Now, as I mentioned, over the years, I have tried other items. I am always on the hunt for the next biggest and greatest thing of something that I know I love and use over and over. And I have tried others, the ones that I still own. This one will always be in my arsenal. And again, I'm sorry, this container looks horrible, but it's because I squeeze it, and sometimes I have the actual product on my hand or on the mitt and I'm squeezing it and I end up, the container looks a mess. This is like the super large size. This is from Westmore Beauty. It's the Lasting Effects Durable Body Coverage Perfector Illuminating Camouflage. I think, oh, here we go. Natural Radiance is the color I use in this. I think, is it QVC or HSN? One of them. I tend to buy the big one. It usually comes with, I think they've come with mitts, with blurring brushes. I actually have a brush and I can't find it. I think it might be at the other house from Amazon that's specifically for your legs. It's like contoured. It's so cool. And you just put, this is just a squeeze tube. I'll show you. You just put a line of it on there and then you run it up and down your legs. You let it dry. It is amazing. I will say for all of these products, as far as transfer, something I have found is they do transfer just a little bit, but they wash right out if you have anything on that's white, and it's very easy to clean up. However, if I set it with a translucent powder, it really stays. So this one is a tried and true. This is the big size. This is not traditionally what they sell. However, I think on Amazon they sell the smaller size, which I do have. I always have these in my arsenal. Again, I use them in those same areas I talked about with the Sally Hansen. Last year I tried this. This is from Fenty Beauty. I guess they got on the bandwagon. This is in the color Honey 02. This one is a pump style one. It's fine. It, to me, had too much of that kind of orange undertone to it, but there wasn't a shade lighter that would have worked well for me. So I don't think I used much of this. No, I definitely didn't. It's fine. I wouldn't repurchase it. I truly love the Westmore Beauty and the Sally Hansen. Those ones work for me year after year after year. So I will continually go back to those. And this one, unfortunately, it's fine. It's just, I wouldn't suggest it unless you found the color combination that works for you. Now that we've talked about self-tanning our body and then kind of color correcting or body makeup, let's talk about our face. As I mentioned, I do not personally tend to put self-tanner on my face, except for every once in a while when there might just be an imbalance or I feel like I just need a little bit of something. Every once in a while I'll do that, but I have found some tried and true ways on my face to make my makeup and my face look as if it matches the rest of my body from self-tanner or from body makeup. Again, right now we're talking about going from winter to spring, where we might not really be in the most tan state of ourselves that we would be in the summertime, but these are transition items that have worked for me year after year when I do start using that self-tanner, that body makeup and things like that. Now, one of the first most obvious things is going to be a bronzer or something like that, and I will talk about that in a minute. But one that I always have in my arsenal, and this one I just realized is completely at the end. It might have a squirt or two left in it, and I think they changed the packaging, or maybe this was the new packaging, but I buy one every year in the spring, and I work my way through it through the entire summer, and it is from Drunk Elephant, and it is the D-Bronze Anti-Pollution Sunshine Drops. This is what it looks like. And it is actually, here, let me see if I can get it out. If you can see this, this is truly a liquid bronzer. And it's gonna look orange on my skin because I am very pale right now. But this is not something that I'm using all over my face, although you could if you wanted to. What I tend to do with this, so that I can save myself on foundation, is I add a pump, a half a pump, 2 pumps, whatever I might need into my current foundation in order to just bring it up to that color tone I need to match that self-tanner or that body makeup, and really just kind of balance everything and start with an even canvas. With bronzers and things like that, you are going to put them more specifically in certain areas. This is something you can use all over. You could put this in your daytime moisturizer if that's what you want, just to give yourself a little bit of tint, or you can add it into a foundation or into your SPF to make your own tinted SPF in order to get that color that best matches the rest of your body. Now, also, as I mentioned, more bronzers or things like that is I find, again, at this time of year, if I am using an item like those bronzing drops and kind of balancing everything out and making it even, I then, unlike the winter where I don't tend to use bronzers in the winter, I use my blush kind of to create a little bit of a contour more so than using a bronzer, because for me and my pale skin in the wintertime, bronzers don't work. However, now as we're transitioning from winter to spring and I'm using more of those self-tanners and kind of getting a little bit more color everywhere, I do want to have the rest of my face kind of work with that. So now I can use those bronzing drops I talked about. Another way or two to do this is like I did today. I actually used my Rare Beauty. This is a bronzing stick. Now this one is a color that works for me in the color Happy. Now this is one today, I just used a tiny little bit of it right through here and a little bit here and here. I don't use this all over as of yet, but I can add more and more as needed as we get into these more warmer days or kind of days where I feel like I need a little bit more color to my skin, not quite so pale. Now, another favorite item that if you are an OGer here, you will remember this. I have had one of these in my arsenal in one way, shape, or form for so many years I can't count. And it is from Chanel, and it is the Chanel, we used to call it the Bronze Day Chanel. Now I think it's called the Less Beige is what it's called. I think it actually comes in 2 colors now too. I will say it smells like heaven, but this is a great item. Also, this is not your true cream bronzers that you're seeing now. This is more of a makeup base, similar to the Drunk Elephant, kind of. You can use this in a contour in certain areas if you're paler like me, or you can use this and work it all over kind of a little bit lightly, by the way, before you put a foundation on. You can put a little bit of it in on your hand with your foundation to bring that color up, or as I mentioned, use it more as a bronzer, a buffing bronzer, a little bit wider of a stroke more so than a contour. This is a pricier item, but one of these will last you so long. It is so, so beautiful on and really just gives you a nice warmth to your skin that's kind of, again, transitioning with all of those items. Now, if you are saying to me, Lisa, I am not a cream person, I am not a, some people have trouble working with those products. If that is not for you, I will say this next product has been a tried and true favorite bronzer that I go back to year after year after year because of my pink undertone. And this is my new one that I bought at the end of last year. I usually go through a full one every summer. That's crazy. And it is the Laura Geller, and it is the Baked Bronze and Brighten in the color Fair. Now, Fair sounds like it's going to be super light, but it actually has beautiful bronzing properties, a little bit of pink in there. It really is marbled, which helps to kind of work with your skin tone and really balance everything out nicely. It does come in other colors. I find this one works best with my skin. I can use it with a big fluffy brush and really work it around to kind of bronze up my skin anywhere that I feel is not even. So similar to how we talked about, you have a self tanner and you might use the body makeup to even out any areas that you might get blotchy. You might need a little bit extra, evenness to. This can work with those cream products if you're unsure, or on its own. Most times in the summer, I use this alone. I don't use a lot of layering products in that time, but right now I like to layer and kind of really make everything work for the time. This is beautiful to use now, and it will work you in through the summer. If you are darker than me, maybe go with a darker color, or you can start with a lighter color and work your way up as you get darker through the summer. But this product is beautiful. It has been around forever, and I absolutely just can't say enough good things about it. I'm going to stay on makeup products, and then we're going to finish up with my last item, which is hair. Now, as we get in through these spring months, we are transitioning through that winter cooler months where we're wearing those darker lips, those more raspberries, those reds, those, just more winter feeling colors. We do want to transition our lip as well. We want to bring that into a more spring tone and a little bit different of a texture. I tend to more in cooler months do more of a matte lip, a little bit more of a very defined line. And as I get in through the spring, I like a little bit more of berry tones, but I also want more of a shine, a plumpness, a real just supple feeling lip. Now, starting with that, I will say that the lipstick that I have been wearing as we are going in through this spring, and this is a newer one for me, is what I have on here today. It is from Stila. It is still a long wear lipstick. However, I think the color is actually called mauve. However, this layers very nicely. It's not too berry, has a little bit of a plum undertone to it, but it is not too nude summer, just glossy lip. It's a very nice transition lip color. I do just put this on, let it sit, and then I use some sort of gloss or something like that, because I do want to have a more supple and kind of like shiny lip in through the spring. I don't want that flat matte, as I had said, but this product is very, very nice, very easy to wear. It doesn't like dry down on your lips and make them feel very dry either, which is super nice. As we are talking more of that kind of spring color, getting away from those darker tones, another item I love is from Tarte. It is called the H2O gloss. You can see it is getting towards the end there. And this is in the color Salt Life. I have multiples of these. This is a tinted gloss. I'll put a little bit on right now. It is so nice. It is so hydrating. It has a little bit of that same tone as that Stila color. Just pick that back up to show you here. As you can see, they both have a little bit of that berry tone to it, but not a dark wine berry for winter. More of a spring tone, a little bit of that plummy undertone to it, a little bit of pink to it, but again, not that super nude look. So if you are not someone that wants a true stained or long wearing lip color, the H2O gloss is a beautiful thing to layer over this or to just wear alone. It has a great pigment to it. I'm gonna just also swatch that on my hand so you can see there real quick. Like, look at that. That is a gloss with beautiful pigmentation to it. Gives you a nice shine. It gives you a beautiful spring feel on your lips, which makes everything kind of tie in very nicely. Another lip item that I have been loving that is newer to me this year are these Hourglass. I forget the full name of that. I will put it down below, but they are tinted plumping lip balms. And that is actually what I had on over top of that Stila originally before I put on the H2O gloss. I have a few of these. This is my everyday go-to one. Again, I'm going to swatch it here for you just so you can see the pigmentation to it. It does have a little bit of a plumping effect, a little bit of like a peppermint, but it's not a strong tingling or, you know, burning sensation for plumping. It's just a very, very, very slight plumping, but it gives you that very hydrated look that as we're going in through the spring, we want our skin to look more hydrated, more plump, more full, not as dry as it might have been in the winter. And so these are a great option for that. And I do have those in 2 or 3 different colors. So I have them some, like my purse and things like that. Next up, this is again another newer item to me, but I have been obsessed with it. And this is from NARS, and it is a lip balm that is tinted. It is in the color Orgasm. It actually came in a set that I got with a blush. Now this is not as much color to it as you can see over here. However, this one is more like a feel of a chapstick on your lips with a tint. This one does have a shimmer to it and a reflective property. So sometimes I personally like, especially with that Stila, to just create a little bit of reflective, especially in the center. That gives you that fuller look. And I have found that this works very, very nicely for that. And it is great to carry in your purse because you can just have that little touch of color and that little touch of shimmer without having to have something else on your lips. And alone, this or the Hourglass work beautifully. My last and tried and true, if you told me I had to get rid of every lip product I own except for one, this would be the one I kept. And again, this is an OG that I have talked about for so long, I can't remember not talking about it. And it is the Clarins Instant Light Lip Perfector. I use the color 06, which I think it's like rosewood or something like that. Here's what I love about these. A, year round, they're amazing. They are similar to, they're a combination between a chapstick and a gloss feel on your lips, but not like a tacky gloss, like when you separate your lips, it sticks. It has a vanilla scent to it. It is super light. So it actually has a sponge tip applicator, and you squeeze the product up. One of these lasts you forever. I'm gonna swatch this as well again. It's all the way over here on the corner. But here is what I love about these for so many different reasons. I literally have these everywhere. I have them in my desk. I have them in my vanity. I have them in my car. I have them in any purse I have. I love this and never want to be without this. And as silly as this sounds, here's what I love about it in the car. I leave it up on my dashboard, right? All year round, I have one in my car on the dashboard at all times. And it is great because it's not like a chapstick or any of those other products I showed you that are gonna melt sitting on your dashboard. The package will change colors because it will fade. I have had it happen many a times. I keep them in my beach bag. It is so nice and it does not melt because it is all in this little tube. I cannot say enough good things about this. It will make your lips look absolutely stunning. Feels like a chapstick with a little bit more slip to it, and it looks like a gloss. It makes your lips look so full, so supple. It is amazing. If you only purchase one item of all the things I talk about, give this a try. If you have already tried this, let me know in the comments because trust me, it's that good and I have talked about it for that many years. I just realized I never swatched the Stila color for you, so I put that all the way over here on this side of my hand for you to be able to take a look at that just to see the color on my hand. Keep in mind the colors on the back of your hand are not representative of how they would look on your lip. If you want to see what they would look like on your lip, you actually use your fingertip, and that's going to be the closest to what your lip color is with a color over it. All right, let's get into that fifth and final item that I am talking about for transitioning from winter to spring as far as your beauty items. And that is things that will give your hair shine and bounce and just make your hair look like it is ready for that nicer weather. All right, let's start out with masks. I love to do a hair mask on my hair once every third wash. That is just what works for me. I find that it really does help keep my hair color longer. It helps keep my hair looking healthy and shiny and soft, but still giving it that fullness that I like. My two go-to hair masks, I use the Monate. It is the Replenish mask. This one I have been using for so many years, I can't even tell you. I have been using this since my hair was down to my butt. Do you remember when my hair was that long? Literally, it was getting to the top of my jeans when I cut it. It was crazy. So this has been my go-to. It is so nice. It smells lovely. It smells slightly on the fruity, a little bit on the spa side. It is very nice. It works great on my hair. The key with a mask is also to make sure you keep up with them. If you only do it once every few months, you're not going to see any results. You're going to see a result maybe for a day or two, but it's not going to keep your hair looking and feeling shiny and healthy. The other one that I continuously use is the Colleen Rothschild Quench and Shine Restorative Mask. This again, this has it's a little bit more masculine of a scent, but very spa-like scent. This one I have used since they first came out with this one. When she launched hair care, I have loved and used it for so long. It truly is an amazing mask. Now, if you told me I could only have one of the two of these, I think I would go with the Colleen Rothschild. It is just more bang for your buck. It just works great and your hair really feels amazing afterwards. This one does as well. However, something about this, just every time I use it, I'm like, wow. And it's just so good. I will say I always do have a discount code for Colleen Rothschild if they don't have a sale going on. I believe it is still Lisa SZ20 from back in the day. So if you are interested in picking that up, make sure you use a discount code and get a deal. Since we are talking about masks, this is along that same line, but this is something I do. I would say probably every other wash to every third wash. I generally wash my hair and do an oil treatment on one wash. The next wash, I do one of these items I'm talking about here. And the time after that, I do a mask. So it would be every third, I kind of rotate them in. It's not consistent. If I skip a week or a day or switch it up, it's all fine. These I found within the last year, and it is two things from the same brand, and it is DP Hue. I think that this is that, Justin, what was his last name? He's friends with Kristen Cavallari and does her hair, and I have two different types. So I have the sheer transparent in the Gloss Plus, and then I have the glossy glaze in Cool Blonde. This I actually used last night when I washed my hair. I had to think of when I washed my hair. This one has a little bit of a tint to it. You might be able to see it there on the bottle. It has a little bit of a purple tint to it. This one is white and completely clear when you use it. The difference is you put this on after you've washed your hair, leave this on for 2 minutes. You work it on your ends up to your roots and it lathers. Okay, and then this one you do after your hair care. However, you leave this on for 5 to 10 minutes, I think it is. I have to look every time before I use this one for some reason. And this one is clear. It is a gloss. So I tend to go to my hairdresser to get a toner once every 6 to 8 weeks. This buys me time in between that. Purple shampoos are great, but something about them with my hair makes my hair look very dingy. This does not seem to do that. And it adds that shine, that softness. I mean, I just love the shine it gives my hair. The same thing with the gloss. I would say I use this one time in between my toner. This is the one that I use the other times. It is clear. I mean, you can see I've used about half the bottle and I already have a backup of this. But this you put on your hair like you would a conditioner or a mask, let it sit in. I usually do all my other things, you know, my shaving, my scrubbing and all of that after I've put this on, and I do a face mask or things like that and let it sit. And they just give your hair such beautiful shine. And as we are aging, if your hair looks dry and brittle, it makes you look older. So using something like this that is a gloss, so it's not your hairdresser's gloss, but it's not far off from it. It really adds that shine back into your hair and that vitality and makes your hair just look so amazing, which makes us look younger when our hair doesn't look dried out and fried. Now, I will say the gloss also comes in colors and tints similar to the glaze one, which they come in an array of colors. I just chose the clear one for that. I only like to add the tint in once every 3 weeks for me personally. Now, the last hair item I'm going to talk about is a hair oil. I use 4 drops of hair oil every single night on the ends of my hair. And for every third wash, as I told you about, I do an oil mask. So I will put oil all over my hair. This is, oh gosh, I'm getting near the end of this one. This is the one I use. It is from Monate. It is the Rejuvenique oil. I jokingly always say in my empties video that this should be in a gold bottle. I call it liquid gold. 4 drops of this. I take 2. I just go through my ends and kind of work it like this. Same thing on the other side on my ends, whatever is left. I go in at my roots and at my part. This is going to help my hair, my ends really seal in. I do it at night before I go to bed. It helps my hair stay shiny, to stay healthy. It keeps my ends very pretty and not fried. I hardly ever have split ends anymore with this set of 3s that I keep mixing around. It has worked for my hair and for what I have been doing. I just absolutely love it. It gives a good shine to your hair every day. And then on that third time, I actually take the dropper and I actually put a dropper at my part and I run parts down my hair and put it at my roots, really work it in. And then I pretty much saturate my ends, work them in, tie it back. Either I wait anywhere from a half hour to sometimes I've slept overnight with it. Sometimes I've waited a day. So those are my 5 different tips for transitioning from winter to spring. They do have different variations, as you noticed, through the different topics that I talked about, but those are my top 5 things that you can make adjustments on now that will work you in through spring. And then as we go through the summer months, you will have already worked some of these in and you can adjust them as we get through summer. The next 2 weeks, I apologize, but there will not be a video up because we will be away on vacation. However, if you want some packing tips, I do have a recent video when we went away to Las Vegas, all about both our trip and how I pack in a carry-on. We will see if I can make that work for a 10-day trip. You guys let me know down below if you would like to see how I packed for 10 days for more of a beach vacation. And if I made it into a carry-on, we'll have to see how that goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have questions on any of the products I talked about here, I have used most of them for years, and some of them are newer to me, but I have used them for longer than 6 months for anything that is new to me. So I do know what is good and bad about each thing. So if you have a question, please let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.